everything's going on, I'll ask the question in two ways. As you may know, I'm a white guy. I belong to 2 unions, but I think the problem on both sides is fear.
Yep.
People are afraid, people of my ancestry are afraid of having to pay for everything when, as immigrants come into this country. People who come in, the people who work at the diner in Alabama are afraid to try to ask for what is reasonable. So do you have a plan to work with people in Congress that are afraid? And I think that's what's going on with many of the conservatives, especially when it comes to climate change. People are just afraid of what will happen if we try to make these big changes. And I remind everyone, Article 1, Section 8, Clause 8 of the U.S. Constitution refers to the progress of science and useful arts. And when we address climate change, we're going to have clean water, access to the internet, and renewable electricity for everyone on Earth. Let's go!
So I think one of the keys to dismantling fear is dismantling a zero-sum mentality. So that, I think, is a really important part of dismantling fear. So what does that mean? It means the rejection outright of the logic that says someone else's gain necessitates my loss, and that my gain must necessitate someone else's loss, that my gain must come at the cost of another person. We are increasing our capacities for productivity, and so we can give without a take, is where we're going through technologically. And when we say, this idea of how you're going to pay for it, this idea that there is a person that pays for it, instead of, we're viewing progress as a cost instead of as an investment. And investments, the difference between a cost and an investment is that an investment yields returns. And when we choose to invest in our systems, we are choosing to create wealth. We are choosing to create wealth, and when we all invest in them, then the wealth is for all of us too. And so I think part of dismantling the fear is dismantling a zero-sum mentality. But it's not just about this idea of who are our decision makers. It's that this is us. This is about voting. This is about the conversations that we're having with our elected officials, because I go there, and whether it's true or not, they blame all of it on you guys. They do. I go and I'm frustrated and I'll say, why did you weaken this environmental thing? And they say, my community doesn't want that. It's my district. Man, it's my district. And no one else knows what anyone else's community is like, so they're like, oh wow, that's weird, okay. And because to this day, I've never heard a person actually level with me and be like, listen, my main donors are fossil fuel people and I just can't. No, but even in the candor of an honest conversation, no one has said that to me. No one has ever said to me, listen, I've got these really big donors, and to be really honest with you, this is why I can't do that. But we all know that's what's happening. And everyone blames it on their electorate. And when our electorate isn't speaking up, then they're allowed to get away with that. But when we decide to participate in this system, and what I talk about is not just in the on season, which is election time, but when we raucously participate in our system in the off season, in the governance time, when we participate in our own self-governance, not just our own elections, but our own governance, when we see what bills are coming to the floor, when we show up to the gallery in DC, when we pick up the phone and call our congressman as much as we call our local, Chinese spot for takeout, that's the kind of relationship we need to have, because once we start getting vocal, they can't get away with the excuse of my district doesn't want that anymore. thing about courage is that courage is self-propagating. Courage begets courage. So the first person who stands up has to encounter the most amount of fear and discomfort. But once that one person stands up, it becomes immensely easier for the second person and the third and the fourth, until it doesn't take any courage at all to stand up for something or to do something. And so what I would say is that the biggest antidote to fear is to, when you see someone that is being fearful, is to choose to be the person that is courageous, to show other people what courage looks like, to be the first person in the room to say, that's not right, or to be the person in the room, you know, when there's this conversation, and the conversation starts to get taken over with fear-mongering, with like Venezuela this and whatever, is to say, you know what, like the thing about fear is that it's all designed to get you to run away from something, and it's not a plan. Fear is not a plan, but courage is a plan. Courage is, this is what we're gonna do. This is where we're gonna go. This is what I'm going to stand up, and this is the action that I'm going to take. Courage is about our future, and fear is just about anxiety. And if you're sick and tired of being an anxious nation, then you have to just be rejecting fear outright. We can't allow ourselves to be governed by fear anymore. We can't allow ourselves to be governed by that kind of rationale, to say, I'm not gonna allow fear to control me anymore. I am going to stand up and do the courageous thing.